Good afternoon, students. Is my voice audible? Students, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
In previous class, we have seen flow meters. Last topic was pitot tube. And today we will see some more flow meters. Here we have different flow meters. First one is rotating disc and sliding vane. Both are useful to estimate flow velocity or flow velocity for the liquids or for gases also, like steam. So here we will allow liquid stream into known volumes based on the physical dimensions of the meter and the register flow by counting the cycles or revolutions. So here first figure shows we have a disc. When the flow can able to create pressure to open this disc, and when this liquid is able to come out of this outlet, this disc will rotate. If we rotate this disc, depending on the rotations, we can estimate the flow rate. We will allow fluid onto the disc. If the liquid pressure is sufficient to move this disc, then liquid can come out of from the outlet. During this, the disc will rotate. That rotations, number of rotations will give flow velocity. Next one is sliding vane. Sliding vane will also rotate. If we allow liquid, it will come out of the outlet by rotating the sliding vane. So these two are called as positive displacement flow meters. Positive displacement flow meters. First one is rotating disc and second one is sliding vane. And next flow meter is a weir. This is, it has very simple construction. Where is a dam with gauge in the top, built perpendicular to the flow direction. The liquid rises to a certain height and then it flows through the gauge. So here the liquid flows out of this weir. If the flow rate is more, we will get more liquid from this weir. These are called positive displacement flow meters. First one is nutating disc, second one is sliding vane, and third one is a weir flow meter. Students, you know that we have received exam schedule from the examination branch. Our exam is on 10th. Complete first module, you have to study for the first module test. So in Moodle, I have uploaded PPT, which has only 50% of the syllabus. Today, I will upload PPT with the complete syllabus. By today evening, I will upload PPT, which covers complete first module. Mass flow rate can be indirectly measured from the volumetric flow rate and density. So here we have other two flow meters. First one is thermal mass flow meter. Here we have arranged a hot wire. Here we have arranged hot wire, and if we allow flow, that liquid will absorb heat energy from that hot wire. The rate of change of temperature of that hot wire will give information about the flow rate. The heat flow rate from the wire to the fluid is proportional to the heat interchanging area A, to the difference in temperature between the wire and the fluid, and to the Next parameter, students, the level sensors. If you want to measure this level in this tank, we can use a number of methods. Floats based on Archimedes buoyancy principle convert the liquid level to force or displacement. So here we have arranged a float. If the liquid is here, the float position will be here. And we can estimate the position of the float by using a scale. And if the liquid level is more in the tank, this float will reach us this position. And that position we can detect by the scale. So it is a simple method. Both A and B figure shows float. Depending on the liquid level in float, in second figure B, you can see a scale which C and D methods will work on differential pressure. In C, the pressure of liquid or solid is proportional to level according to H is equal to delta P by rho Z. But here, students, in D, you can see we are allowing inert gas into the flow, sorry, into the liquid which is stored in tank. We are allowing inert gas into the liquid which is stored in the tank. So how much pressure this inert gas is experiencing because of the liquid which is stored in tank, that gives us the amount or the volume of the liquid in the tank. We have to allow inert gas to frame bubbles, and depending on the pressure experiencing by this inert gas to form bubbles, that will give us volume of the liquid in the tank. So these are the level sensors. These are useful to estimate liquid level in a tank. Students, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Here I am facing internet connectivity problem, so I'm disconnecting and reconnecting. So here we have a cantilever. So cantilever means it is a metal sheet. One end is fixed to the wall, and on other end we have to apply force. Depending on the dimensional changes in this cantilever, we have to estimate the amount of force. And after removing the force on the cantilever, slowly it will take initial position. And next one is helical spring. If you apply force, the spring will get compressed. And here you can see both sides we are applying force, F and F. Depending on the dimensional change in this helical spring, we can estimate the pressure difference. And next one, torsion bar. Torsion bar is nothing but a steel rod or some metallic rod, and we have to apply two forces which are acting in opposite direction. Here you can see one force is acting in downwards direction, other force is acting in upward direction. So it is nothing but a twisted force. We used to call twisted force as torque. We used to call twisted force as torque. And next sensors are acceleration and inclination sensors. So here we have two devices, and most of the cases in every laboratory we will maintain this equipment to find out the inclination. And here we have a device. In this we have a liquid which can form a bubble. If you place this device on a flat surface, that bubble should occupy place on the device at the middle. If we keep this device with a little bit inclination, this bubble will take a different position, and by observing that bubble, we can estimate the ground inclination. If the bubble is at middle, that surface is in a flat pattern. If the bubble is at different position, we can say that surface, the ground is in inclined position. And here we have other device. A mass suspended within a case rotates when the case rotates. So here we have to arrange this entire setup in a case, and that entire case we have to arrange on, we have that entire case we have to place on surface. If the surface is in a flat pattern, this mass will be 90 degrees to the ground, and if the surface or ground is in inclined pattern, this will not be perpendicular to the surface. It will make some inclination. By observing this inclination, we can estimate the inclination of the ground. These are the devices to estimate the inclination. A compass senses the inclination with respect to a reference axis defined by a magnetic field. We know what is a compass. Always it will show south pole and north pole. Depending on that also we can estimate inclined position, inclination. And here this bubble can be detected by the capacitive or resistive sensor. Generally, manually we will observe this bubble position on this device. But if you want to arrange resistive or capacitive sensors, we can arrange to detect this bubble. Velocity sensors. Students, go through this slide, I will explain. Go through this slide for 1 minute, I will explain. Velocity sensors. Linear velocity can also be converted into rotational velocity by attaching a rack to the moving object and coupling it to pinion gear that drives a rotor, as in car speedometers. Absolute angular velocity measurement often released on gyroscopes. Students, gyroscope is a device which can estimate angular velocity. Gyroscope is a device which can estimate angular velocity. It can show angular velocity in three directions. It can show angular velocity in three directions. So here it is unable to understand the working of gyroscope. I will show you another picture. Then we'll discuss this one. Students, is my screen visible to you?
Visible, sir.
See here we have gyroscope. We can estimate angular velocity or angular inclination in three directions. This middle one is called as spin axis, and yellow color will called as rotor. This circular shape is called as gimbal, and outer frame is called as gyroscope frame. So this is called as gyroscope. In a classic single axis mechanical gyroscope, a motor driven spinning mass is supported within a gimbal held by bearing attached to a case. In a two-axis gyroscope, the bearing supporting the inner gimbal are attached to an outer gimbal able to rotate with respect to the case. A rate gyro is single axis gyro having an elastic restraint of the spin axis about the output axis. So these are the different kinds of gyroscope. The basic gyroscope is useful to estimate angular velocity or angular displacement in three-dimensional. When the gyroscope is rotated around the axis perpendicular to the spinning mass, an angular momentum is developed around the z-axis perpendicular to the x and y axis. So in velocity sensors, we have gyroscope. Gyroscope is useful to estimate angular velocity. That momentum is proportional to the angular speed around the y-axis and can be sensed by torque or force sensors. So just now I have shown you gyroscope in Wikipedia. So when the wheels are rotating, those rotations can be detected by the other sensors. So here all these points will explain the working of gyroscope. After gyroscope, we will enter into the other type of sensors technology, that is micro sensor technology. Micro sensor materials are prepared according to their nature, the desired sensing principle and the intended application. Already we are using all these micro sensors in our mobile phones, in our televisions, in our laptops, and in our air conditioning systems, in microwaves. So if we design a sensor on IC or in a small size, that sensor can be called as micro sensor. There is an increasing interest in applying integrated circuit technology and micro machining because they yield small, reliable sensors produced in large amount, leading to low cost. So this is one of the advantage. If the sensor is taking less space and on remaining place, we can arrange some more sensors. And if we design an IC which is working as a sensor, it is very useful to implement on the electronic circuits. Thick film technology, thin film technology. So go through this slide for 1 minute, students. I will explain now. So in this slide, we have detailed constructional features of thick film technology sensors. Thick film technology uses paste or inks with particles of common or noble metals dispersed in an organic vehicle along with the glass frit that binds them. Depending on the dispersed particles, the paste can be conductive, resistive, or dielectric. So to understand this thick film technology, just imagine a solar cell. Solar cell comes under thick film technology. So if you observe solar cell, we have a glass sheet on the solar cell. We cannot touch directly that uh, sensor which is absorbing the light energy. Just we can touch only glass. Those pastes are screen printed or substrated according to a predefined pattern involving width lines from 10 mm to 200 mm. So here we have different types of thick film technology. Depending on the firing temperature, there are three basic thick film circuit types. Low temperature thick film technology, which can sustain up to 250 degrees Celsius. And thermoplastic paste, which can work in between 800 degrees Celsius to 1000 degrees Celsius. And The sensors which are working in between 500 to 650 degrees Celsius, they comes under medium temperature phases. So here we have thick film technology constructional features. Solar cell is example for thick film technology. And here we have thin film technology. If the size lies between 0.1 mm to 50 mm thick, then we can call that sensor as thin film technology. Thin films are obtained by vacuum deposition on substrate of polished high purity alumina or low alkalinity glass. Sensor and circuit patterns are defined by masks and transferred by photolithography. Similarly to monolithic IC fabrication, even though their names may suggest that the only difference between thick film and thin film technology is in film thickness. They are quite different technologies. So constructing thick film and thin film technologies is completely different process. In size, the materials which we are using, so all the features are different in thin film and thick film technologies. CVD means chemical vapor deposition. And already we have seen diaphragms and bellows as pressure sensors. CVD can be enhanced by the presence of plasma that includes the decomposition of gaseous compounds into reactive species at low temperature. Micro electromechanical systems. Micro electromechanical systems are called MEMS. So this is another type of sensor technology. We have seen 4 sensors. Today we have seen force and torque sensors, acceleration and inclination sensors, angular velocity sensors, that is gyroscope, and thin film technology sensors and thick film sensor, thin film technology sensors and thin film technology sensors, thick film and thin film. Students, today I will upload this PPT in Moodle. MEMS we will see in next class. That is completely another topic. In next class, we will see MEMS students.